Hello and welcome to round one of the Euro 2025 playoffs. Northern Ireland making the trip to take on Croatia. It's a two-legged contest. The first game this evening followed by the return leg at Windsor Park on Tuesday night for the right to then progress and potentially get an opportunity to make it to this summer's championship. Standing in the way, first of all, a Croatian side ranked below Northern Ireland in the rankings. They've had a difficult campaign so far in the Nations League. A very winnable tie for Tanya Oxtoby's side. The players are ready as we await the anthems. Northern Ireland hoping to make it back-to-back European Championships. Croatia themselves have never qualified for a major tournament. Hopefully, we will now see the two starting lineups. Croatia first, plenty of experience in their squad, particularly with the striker Rudulic and the returning Jokak. They are the two highest scorers at this level for Croatia. Jokak is back after 5 years out. The officials are from Portugal. On her 50th cap, Laura Rafferty captains the side, despite the announcement earlier in the week that Simone McGill would take that position long term. There's been so much talk about the players who aren't involved in this squad through lack of selection and also injury. The rather inexperienced trio in midfield have a big game in their hands in the space of Halliday, McPartlin and Schofield. The honour for Laura Rafferty with the captain's armband on cap number 50. She has held the position for a number of matches recently. It's her 12th straight start. Alongside me for this one in Belfast is Cara Hamilton. Cara, what an opportunity for this side. On paper, Northern Ireland are favourites. Do you feel that's the case?
I really do, and I feel that there's that confidence within the group. Everything that I've seen and heard from them this week, they're actually relishing that favourites tag. It's not a tag that we wear often, and sometimes it's overawed us a little bit in the past, but I feel like there's a real confidence and a real enjoyment and good feel coming out of the group this week, and I hope that they just put in the performance that we've been building towards over this past 12 months under Tanya.
How big a night is it for Connie Schofield, her first start?
Yeah, look, I've watched a lot of Connie over the years and playing in the Women's Championship. She is an extremely technical player, well experienced, yes, not within this group, but she's a confident player as well, and I don't think that the occasion will overawe her at all.
There is a Croatian skipper, the goalkeeper, Doris Bacic, as Simone McGill prepares to get this game underway. Northern Ireland have 180 minutes to try to make it through to the next round. A lot of talk in the build-up to this game has been about the players who haven't been selected, in particular Marissa Callahan and Demi Vance, two of the longest-serving members of the Northern Ireland squad. Marissa Callahan, a long-term captain as well. Vance, a permanent fixture on the left-hand side. Not selected by Tanya Oxtoby. A number of players also out through injury. Cara, who's alongside me, Nadine Caldwell, Kerry Beattie and Julie Andrews too. So a new look, Northern Ireland, if you will. There's a Croatian manager, his 29th game in charge. He's been in that position for almost 3 years now. It's been a difficult spell of games for Croatia. Finished third in their group. 3 wins and 3 defeats. Wales topped that group, Ukraine in second. So that meant that Northern Ireland were seeded for this contest. Croatia unseeded. There's Tanya Oxtoby. Has won 4 of her 7 games away from home since taking charge.
I think just touching on Northern Ireland's away record, I think what's been really interesting under Tanya is maybe we've been a little bit more conservative at home, or away from home, sorry, but still managed to get some really strong results. But I don't think that will be the case tonight. I know that they'll want to get on the front foot early on and try and put this tie to bed as early as possible, not being rushed and impatient in their play, but I know that they'll really want to impose themselves on this game and take a strong result back to Belfast. I don't think a draw will be in their minds at all.
And probably another statistic that backs that up is that of the last 20 goals scored under Tanya Oxtoby, only 3 of them have been in the first half. Croatia on the attack. Difficult one to deal with. Penalty. It's Jackie Burns who's been penalised. Pulled down the striker. And this could be a horror start for Northern Ireland. The cross came into the middle. Decent first touch.
Yeah, slight mix-up there between Laura Rafferty and Jackie Burns. I'm not quite sure if they know who's taking control of that situation, and it results in a penalty. I mean, you may say it's soft. I think there's very minimal contact, but she's given the referee a decision to make, and unfortunately it's gone against Northern Ireland. And now a massive moment for Jackie Burns now.
It's been sent off twice during her Northern Ireland career, Jackie Burns. And it's going to be the player who was brought down, Rudelic, who has an opportunity to give Croatia the dream start. It's actually Joina who's going to take this one. Rudelic, the player brought down. '89th cap. It's found in it 13 times. Long delay. I wonder, is VAR looking at this? No, the whistle sounds. stops the Croatian striker, and Jolina makes no mistake. An emphatic finish from her.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic penalty. Even if Jackie Burns does go the right way, there's absolutely no way that she's stopping that. But for Northern Ireland now, it's just a case of getting back to what they set out to do in the game plan. I mean, it's so early on in the game. Yes, it goes absolutely completely against your game plan, but I don't think they need to completely scrap the game plan and go for it at this point. They just need to get their rhythm back. It's only 3 minutes into the game. Neither team has had a chance to settle into the game, so it's about trusting the process and sticking to what you set out to do. But if Croatia maybe approach this game slightly differently now, depending on how they expected the first half to go, you might see them adapt a little and maybe sit a little bit deeper. They might have anticipated coming into this game and being a bit more aggressive and on the front foot in their press, and maybe now they'll think that they don't have to.
I mean, you look at the position of the referee before that incident. Very close to it, had no hesitation at all before pointing to the spot. I think Croatia are actually temporarily down to 10. There's a player changing their boots on the sideline as the cross comes in, and Northern Ireland, are they level? Almost. It was Simone McGill who was millimetres away from levelling things up. Attacked that near post area. It struck the crossbar. Did it cross the line though?
You're just seeing two players do what they do best. Danielle Maxwell taking players on 1v1, and Simone McGill getting across the front post as she so often does. And it's just come off the wrong side of the underside of the crossbar.
Well, that replay clarifying things.
But listen, exactly what they said. Northern Ireland don't need to change anything that they've set out to do. Trust the process, trust your players to execute what you've asked them to do. The likes of Danielle getting crosses into the box. I think she'll have a fantastic night if she keeps taking her defender on 1v1. And Simone will always make that run across the front post and get success.
Certainly bodes well for the visitors. McGill, mentioned before the game, will be the long-term captain of the side, but on that milestone occasion for Laura Rafferty, she wears the armband tonight. It's a goal scorer, Jolina, who is now fulfilling her defensive duties. Here's another look at the incident that led to the goal itself. It was clearly a case of the player being onside. Don't know why they showed that image now, but Northern Ireland have a corner kick. Driven low towards the near post. Who's going to get there? Whistle wide. I think it took a touch. It was Laura Rafferty, the captain, on cap number 50.
Yeah, it looks like the one that they've sort of tried to work. They've obviously identified that that's an area of the box that Croatia probably don't defend very well, is that sort of middle to front area. And almost comes off in the second phase with Laura Rafferty.
One thing you would say is that the manager would be so pleased with the reaction to going behind. It's been all Northern Ireland since then. Can that be the little spark that they need? Halliday. I think it's the first time we've mentioned her name. McKenna's run. Now it's back with the full back once more. Tries to find Maxwell. Well read though by Croatia, who are perhaps a little bit quick in getting forward.
I think that initial pass from Rebecca McKenna is exactly what Northern Ireland are going to need to get success from this game. I think the wide areas, yes, they'll probably be successful at times, but I think if Northern Ireland can play centrally between those lines, there's huge gaps between the lines in this Croatia side. If they can find the likes of Connie Schofield who can get on the half turn and play forward, if they can be brave enough to play those passes centrally, I think they'll open this team up all night.
Burns, so good with the ball at feet normally, trying to shift it out towards the far side. Holloway. Now it's back with Dugdale.
There it is again, Rachel Dugdale finding Simone McGill dropping into the pocket the way she does so well. She'll just land it and then you can play forward for those third man runs.
Wade lifts it in right on top of the goalkeeper, too close to the Croatian captain. But you can even see the runs being made by Rebecca Holloway a lot more positive further up the pitch, and we're used to seeing her.
I think that's where Rebecca Holloway is utilised best, is in that left back position. And I know probably just through injury and particularly in centre half areas we are maybe a little bit light, and she's had to fill in there. But the more that we can utilise her in those high and wide positions, the more success that we're going to get.
And right on cue, here is Holloway on the ball looking for McGill, who started really brightly. Continues her run towards the middle, or 3 in there. Just can't keep it down. Good idea from Schofield making that run. And you would say the visitors haven't been afraid to commit players forward. That's 2 or 3 attacks when the likes of Schofield and Holloway have tried to get bodies into the box.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing Kerry Halliday and Connie Schofield together, they're both going to want to make those forward runs, and they're leaving, you know, Brenna McPartland as a single pivot to do that defensive work in front of the back four, but they're allowing those midfielders to make those stretch runs and support the forward line.
It's been an interesting and action-packed opening 10 minutes. Croatia took the lead through an early penalty after Jackie Burns had brought down the striker Rudelich. It was dispatched by Joina, and then soon after, Simone McGill, so unfortunate not to equalise her effort, striking the crossbar, but it didn't cross the line. And the visitors still find themselves behind, but they do have a free kick in a good position. Two over it. Looks like it's going to be Schofield. Maxwell's just trying to create a little bit of a nuisance for himself in between the Croatian wall. And that comes back. Clearly something that they've been working on. Good ball in. Dealt with by the centre half. Here's Halliday twisting and turning. Good footwork in the edge of the box. Another play for a throw-in.
It's another good quality delivery from Danielle Maxwell. She started well in this opening 10 minutes, puts it into a really inviting area. I think what's different about Northern Ireland now is maybe a little lack of aerial threat. Maybe looking at the likes of Brenna McPartland or Laura Rafferty, even Lauren Wade off those set pieces, but we're used to seeing Sarah McFadden, Rachel Furness, and that's why we had so much success in the past off set plays, but we maybe lack that a little bit now. So maybe have to be a little bit cuter off set pieces.
Is that another free kick? Yes, it is.
Because it looks like we're going to have a lot of set pieces and free kicks in this game.
Another chance for Tanya Oxtoby side. This time it was Kanyevac with the foul. Bakic actually had a spell at Arsenal when she was younger. Also formerly of Juventus, now plays at Napoli, the Croatian #1. Lifted in again by McPartland. Ball bouncing as Holloway tries to flick it on. Almost a quarter of an hour play. This game taking place in northern Croatia.
It's an excellent ball out from Jackie there to find Rebecca Holloway again in a very high position.
Visitors have certainly settled.
Once again, finding that space of massive space for Rebecca Holloway just to step into there and find herself in that channel. Same for Rebecca McKenna on this right-hand side. They've obviously profiled that. Happy for the two centre halves to sit a little bit deeper and push both full backs on to find that half space just inside the opposition's half.
And so far, the referee hasn't shown any cards. Has had the opportunity to do. Even for the penalty, I don't think that Jackie Burns was reprimanded. Got a couple of set pieces on the right-hand side. Here's one on the left. Rafferty and Holloway, the main targets in the middle. McGill with the run towards that near post. Press coming from Croatia, but McKenna does well to shift it to Rafferty. Northern Ireland in the last two games haven't won 3 in a row in 2 years. Jackie Burns will be frustrated at 6 years since she's kept 3 clean sheets in a row, so that one won't please her, the nature of the penalty and also conceding. A nightmare start for Northern Ireland, but they've come back into this game as it's progressed. Looks like the winners of this fixture will play Norway for a place at the Euros. Norway, of course, 2 times winners of the competition, having to go through this route. It's a very convoluted process, the Nations League, with the 2 rounds of playoffs, but if it works for you, you're certainly not complaining. It's given opportunities in games the likes of the player in the ball now, Kerry Halliday, great ball in. Simone McGill just over the top. I think the flag is dead down as well.
Yeah, there was a question of offside there for me. It just seemed as though she was standing alone, but she times are run really well. The 2 Croatian defenders try to step up and play her offside, but don't get the timing right. It's another opportunity rude for Simone McGill, who hasn't had an awful lot of game time over the past couple of months. It's brilliant to have her out here on the pitch. It was touch and go maybe for a few weeks whether she would make it, but she's done really well in her rehab to get herself here, and she'll be desperate to get on the score sheet tonight, knowing what a big night this is for Northern Ireland.
Cap number 86 for Simone McGill, 25 goals as well. Here's Halliday right at the start of her international career. McParlin. Northern Ireland trying to pin back Croatia. Halliday, which had a really good season with Linfield. 13 goals, 12 assists in her 21 games. Youngest member of the squad at 19. Bacic actually played against Northern Ireland in those matches in 2015 and 2016. 1 win for Croatia, 1 win for Northern Ireland. Just 2 survivors, I think, from that game. Dugdale and McGill. Picked up by Wade. Can't manage to squeeze it through to Maxwell in this near side. Schofield thought she was fouled. Referee initially played advantage before awarding the free kick.
Yeah, it's becoming a real theme of the game now. Croatia just trying to upset the rhythm of Northern Ireland by giving away cheap fouls and free kicks, and I think as early as possible now the referee's got to start clamping down on that with yellow cards if it's going to be a persistent theme now.
I'm surprised she hasn't already.
A little bit. I mean, it is only the opening 20 minutes, and it's maybe not persistently been the same player who's committed the fouls, but I think as it's starting to build now, she needs to sort of set a bit of a precedent for the rest of the game moving forward now.
Croatia are dropping deeper and deeper. Clipped in this time by Maxwell. Holloway fires it goalwards. Wade tries to recycle it, but it's Maxwell who gets her ahead of a couple of Croatian players and does really well. Schofield's cross and hooked away, but spoke about how big a night it was for that trio in midfield. They've certainly looked very lively, and Maxwell as well on this near side. Seems to be swapping at times with Schofield.
If anything, I thought she was actually going to give that free kick the other way. It looked as though Rebecca McKenna was holding her slightly. Again, a lot of success. Rachel Dugdale really looking for Simone McGill as she drops into that pocket, and then really able to release the wide players.
It was Maxwell throwing herself at that deep cross. And clearly identifying width as a real strength of their lineup. There's Rudlich. Won the penalty. Actually switched allegiance from Germany and spent the majority of her career there. Played for the likes of Bayern Munich amongst others. Certainly in terms of possession and territory so far, Northern Ireland have dominated. Can they find parity though as the half progresses? McGill came very, very close to achieving that. McKenna, crunching tackle. No free kick.
Be interesting to see this one back. I really don't think she makes any contact with the ball. She plays it off Rebecca McKenna and then follows through, or arguably could be a free kick.
It has been a little bit scrappy the last 10 minutes or so. More so because of the stop-start nature of the game. Harlan lost out initially, but wins it back. Under pressure, finds Maxwell.
It's just those sorts of moments whenever the ball becomes a little bit loose and it becomes scrappy. It's on Northern Ireland then just to find that security pass and to just switch away from pressure if they can, to just build a new phase of attack rather than trying to always then go forward and then the passes are a little bit loose because the detail hasn't been there on the previous pass. Just like with Danielle Maxwell there trying to find Simone, it was probably just easier to play that safer option and then try and build the attack elsewhere.
Do you think that Northern Ireland will have expected this amount of possession?
I think they would have, having profiled Croatia and looked at them. They're a very direct team. They're not really a team that likes to build an awful lot the same way that we are now trying to do with this sort of philosophy under Tanya Oxby, where we want to be a possession-based team and control the ball. Croatia are the exact opposite, so I think they probably would have expected it, and even more so now that they are a goal up on Northern Ireland.
Midway point of this first half. The goal coming in the first couple of minutes from the penalty spot. A fine finish from Julina, but it's really been Croatia's only attack in this game so far. A goal that will really frustrate the Northern Ireland management team and the back line. There is Julina in shot. McGill can't quite squeeze it through and find Maxwell, who was the intended target. Herschel Every from inside the Croatian half, even at this stage of the game. Good strength from Maxwell. In the McGill always seems to be an outlet. counter-attack, though, could be on. Dugdale comes across, not taking any chances.
Yeah, and I think there you see everything that Croatia are about, just wanting to look forward at the first opportunity, try and hit the runners into space, but Rachel Dugdale does well to recognise the danger and sweep up, and especially the longer the game goes on, and if it remains this way, that's what Croatia are going to aim to hit, and the more Northern Ireland are trying to push for a goal, they've got to be wary of that threat on the counter-attack.
Croatian midfielders haven't really been able to have a sustained period of possession, although they have managed to win a corner kick. Just highlighting what you've been saying, just to taking the direct route.
Yeah, look, it's not pretty, but it puts teams under pressure, and there again Rebecca Holloway's had to concede a corner because of it. It's more of a hopeful ball into an area, but again it's got them an opportunity to put the ball into Northern Ireland's box.
It was Markovic on the end of it. Julina waiting for support from the back. There's plenty of height in this lineup. Rudelich is in there. Gosak as well. Head towards a penalty spot left off the training ground. Can't keep it down, no.
Yeah, it's a decent routine from Croatia. You can see exactly what they're trying to do. Just one player running over the ball, trying to drag players out of the box. And they're leaving a player on the edge, willing to concede one, thinking that's maybe the less of a threat.
Peja with the effort. You can see that it was Croatia's second on goal so far. Northern Ireland have had 6. The only thing that matters, though, is the scoreline, and so far it's Croatia with that slight advantage thanks to the early penalty kick. McPartlin moving it from left to right, doesn't quite manage to do so, though. A little bit of a purple patch from the home side. Dealt with at the near post by Rafferty after Rulicic had found space, and this time Northern Ireland will be thankful that the whistle has sounded.
She's done well, Danielle Maxwell, to get her body in front of the ball, in front of the player there, and just win the foul, because Northern Ireland were certainly under a little bit of pressure. It just gives them a little bit of respite to get into control of possession once again. But again, Croatia just showing the threat that they can offer.
I'm not sure that graphic is right, given that Northern Ireland have had about 4 or 5 free kicks and have supposedly only conceded 2 fouls, but the Croatians have only committed 2 fouls, but we're not in charge of any of the graphics or anything from this broadcast. It's being supplied by our Croatian counterparts as we approach the half-hour mark. The Republic of Ireland were leading their game against Georgia at the break thanks to a Kitty McKee penalty kick. They're now 3-0 up in that game. Carusa and Katie McCabe with the other goals, so that would give the Republic of Ireland a fantastic platform to take home for the return fixture in that one. Lovely link up play on the right-hand side is given Maxwell the opportunity in towards Halliday early on. First time effort. It was Lauren Wade, and you like to see that.
Lauren, yeah. Northern Ireland doing really well to build out from the back there. Rebecca McKenna again finding that out to in pass, and then it's the in to out pass to find Danielle Maxwell. She maybe just plays the ball slightly behind Kerry Halliday, or Kerry Halliday maybe needs to just hold her run slightly. But again, encouraging signs, and Northern Ireland just need to build momentum again in this final 15 minutes of the first half, try and put Croatia under as much pressure as possible.
Good link-up play from the visitors, as it's cut out by McKenna. felt she was fouled as she played it forward. Croatian manager is particularly happy with the position where the throw-in is going to be taken from. He's enjoyed 12 victories in his 29 games. Not that many recently, though. Croatia have struggled. They've lost 5 of their last 8 internationals and have failed to score in 8 of the last 13. Lost 3-0 and 4-0 to group winners Wales in their Nations League group. Northern Ireland's only defeats in their pool coming against the group winners Portugal. Yolina scored the penalty. First time that Northern Ireland have really been under any pressure at all. They will feel it was a needless penalty to give away, as Rafferty brings it out of the defence. One back though by Croatia on the right-hand side. Holloway penalised. Another opportunity from a set piece, and after soaking up quite a bit of Northern Ireland pressure, Croatia have certainly improved as the half has gone on. Doesn't beat the first player, McGill, but could be recycled. Not quite as Holloway clears. Caps in the Croatian lineup. 9 of the Northern Ireland squad though have 10 caps or fewer. Very much a squad in transition. A lot of that enforced with injuries though. McKenna. Now one of the first names in the team sheet. Rafferty. Cross to Dugdale. And a spell away from the international fold, but he's come back in and been a regular in recent months.
Again, you can see the disconnect between the lines in Croatia now. That front two a little bit more aggressive than their midfield four, starting to get disconnected, and if Northern Ireland can drop down at the right time into those pockets of space and find their midfield, or even Simone McGill dropping into pockets, but it's all become a little bit loose for Northern Ireland.
Croatia at times are very deep, and that then frustrates the opponents. They maybe feel like they have to force it a little bit. Patience key though, particularly in a two-legged game. Plenty of time for Northern Ireland left in this match as McGill struggles to keep it in play. It just rolled over the line.
It's difficult for her, as it so often is. I mean, teams know what a threat she poses, and that she's so good at dropping in and receiving the ball. So every time there's just going to be a centre half right up her back, stopping her from turning. But if they're able to drag the Croatian centre halves into those spaces, if she's able to bring one with her, then there's going to be space in behind for runners to exploit. But haven't managed to exploit that often enough yet.
So often she plays as a lone striker. 21 of her 25 international goals have been scored away from home. Does it maybe suit her?
I think it just shows the sort of mentality that she has. You know, away from home are often your most difficult games, and that's where you need your biggest players to step up and shine, and she's so often done it for Northern Ireland. She's always been the player that we've looked to for that inspiration, and and hence why she's now wearing the armband, and there's no better person or player for it now.
Was she the natural captain for you?
For me, absolutely. I think, you know, I've played with Simone since we were both 15 years old, coming into the senior team, and even at that point she just had a presence, and she just had a spark and something special within her, and she's always led in her own way, you know, on and off the pitch, and she's just more and more grown into that natural leader that she is. I mean, I think there's a number of brilliant leaders rising up in this team, and we'll see them over the next coming years, but I think Simone is captain Northern Ireland right through the age group. She's probably our best home talent that we've ever produced, arguably, having played in the WSL at the highest level for so many years, and I think it was only right to give her the armband. She's never had the opportunity to do it before.
I think I was surprised she's only captained the side once throughout her 86 caps. Is it something that you feel will maybe even bring her to another level, if that's even possible?
If that's even possible, yeah. I don't think Simone would have changed as a person. You know, she won't change now that she's got it. She wouldn't have changed as a person had she not been selected as a captain. She would have performed in exactly the same way and conducted herself as professionally as she always would have, regardless. But yeah, I think, you know, it may just give her that lift that she needs, especially at this point in her career.
Here she is on the ball, right on cue. Can't get her crossing. 10 minutes to go to half time. Croatia 12 places below Northern Ireland in the rankings. Northern Ireland at their highest ranking ever, actually, at 45th. Croatia were 44th in 2003, haven't managed to get any higher than that, so trying to move up in the coming years. They're ahead this evening and on the attack again. Jackie Burns hasn't had a huge amount to do. Probably disappointed having given away that early penalty that was in, converted from the spot by Olina. Rafferty.
That's the ball from Laura Rafferty there. That's exactly what Northern Ireland need.
Danielle Maxwell can't do anything with it.
I think on the build previously that we alluded to at the beginning of the game, before Croatia dropped off as deep as they have now, there was space for the fullbacks to advance and get on the ball in the early phases, but now it's not so much on as Croatia have dropped off, and so that channel opens up to them play centrally. If Northern Ireland can find Simone McGill in the pocket, then it's about getting runners off of her, getting players underneath the ball and not everybody running beyond.
A twisting and turning opportunity for McGill. Good defending, it has to be said, because it was the kind of chance that Simone McGill loves on the turn. So bright.
Yeah, it was always going to be a difficult chance. The ball was kind of moving away from her. It was going to be difficult to get enough purchase on it, but she'll always have a go.
Jelenic. Over 50 caps as well. Northern Ireland have a corner kick in the far side, flicked on by McParland. McKenna tries to sweep it out the way once again, doesn't quite make it that far, and the Croatian counter-attack is stopped by Rafferty. Dugdale on the left side of that Northern Ireland 3. Good ball in towards Halliday.
It's a good ball, but it's also very congested. Northern Ireland have stayed down that left side now for a couple of phases, and I think once you've worked those little triangles but you haven't moved anyone, then Croatia are massively over covering on one side, and it's how quickly can you then switch the ball and then exploit on the weak side.
Cross cut out. Croatia, I think, temporarily down to 10. Lifted in. Centre half gets her head on it, and it's Lauren Wade who then tries to find McGill in the middle. Good pressure though before the break from Northern Ireland. Less than 5 minutes to go until the interval. Nevrilda, a thorn in the side of Northern Ireland. She's been very accomplished in the Croatian defence. We've got a little bit of a stoppage now. The referee just wanted to have a word with a couple of players. Batic, 29 now. Mentioned some of the clubs that she's been at over the last number of years. Never actually played for Arsenal when she was there as a teenager because of visa issues. Dugdale shifts it across towards Rafferty. Dugdale showed a little bit too much of it to the attacker, and it was fortunate that Tejiel didn't manage to dispossess her. Easily cut out by Burns. Can the visitors create something before the break? Building from the back. McKenna. To McParlin. Chances being taken by the defender. Kanievak. And as things stand, it looks like the home side are going to go in leading at the break. Unless Northern Ireland can try and find an equaliser in the next 2.5 minutes. They're still in the right area of the pitch. McKenna unable to squeeze through two Croatian players, then goes down, was held. Another set piece in this one, in a very good position.
She's done well to win something there, Rebecca McKenna. Again, maybe just forcing it a little bit into an area where it's going to be very difficult to get something out of, but she's done well to get the free kick out of it.
The referee has also done well not to show a yellow card so far. That time it was Johak. He's returning after 5 years away from the international fold. Country's joint top scorer. Two in the wall. Wade plays it in. Took a touch off one of the Croatian players, who were a couple looking at one another, not too sure how much Nevrilda knew about that, but
I think it's just a look of relief on her face that doesn't end up in the top corner.
Final minute of this first half. Maxwell. Northern Ireland player took a tumble. Still on the attack though. And Bacic does well to hold on to it. Two visiting players bearing down on her. Any mistake there in Northern Ireland were level. I think it's McParlin and McGill ready to pounce. Additional time at the end of the 45. A little bit of a slip from the left back, but they managed to recover, but then give it away cheaply. Time ticking down. Halliday. Northern Ireland pushing for something before the break. As Croatia just about avoid conceding the corner kick. Real sense of urgency from McKenna. Knows time is ticking down. I think that's going to be the final action of the half. Perhaps. Yes, it is. Northern Ireland trailing at the break 1-0. Jolina with that early penalty after the foul from Jackie Burns on Rudelich. That the only goal of the opening 45 minutes. Simone McGill went close for Northern Ireland, but they couldn't find an equaliser. What are your thoughts on opening 45 minutes, Cara?
Look, I think an absolute disaster of a start, obviously. Just the nature of the penalty being given away, not ideal, and from a player as experienced as Jackie, you don't expect that from her. But I thought the initial response after the goal was very encouraging from Northern Ireland. Created probably the best chance of the game, was near enough straight after it with Simone McGill at the front post, and look, it's inches from becoming 1-1, and I think then that changes the look of the game completely. It suits Croatia the way the game has now gone, and they've been able to sort of collapse into that lower block, which has frustrated Northern Ireland. And typically we've maybe had a hard time against low blocks in the past, especially over the past year in the Nations League campaign that we had. And I think as the half wore on, the initial energy that we had after the goal went in just started to die a little bit, and we didn't really look like scoring. I think where we're getting most of our success is what I've alluded to a couple of times, is trying to play more centrally. I think going round the outside is just playing into Croatia's hands now. They're being able to defend the wide areas a lot better, stop crosses coming in, and any crosses that do come in, they're dealing with very well. I don't think we have enough aerial threat to come on to the ball and score from a header. Look, I hope I'm wrong come the second half, but I just don't think that's what is going to breed success in this game. And
you're watching some of the best chances now throughout the opening 45 minutes from Northern Ireland's perspective, and that will be the big positive, Cara, the fact that Northern Ireland are creating chances.
Of course, and I think they would have expected in this game to have a lot of box entries, a lot of possession in the final third, and as the game wears on, I just hope that they don't become too eager and too rushed. They still need to remain patient in their play and not try and force things, especially down one side. I've alluded to how Croatia overcover and all get sucked, and they're very, very ball focused. So if we can work them down one side and work that switch onto the opposite side, then we can hurt them on that weaker side.
Northern Ireland behind on the international stage, 1-0 at the break to Croatia, but domestically Cliftonville dominated the season. They rounded off the clean sweep with victory in the Women's Irish Cup final last weekend. They took on Lisburn Rangers in that decider. We can now watch highlights on commentary. Michael Clark and Cara Hamilton.
Well, working a corner routine here. And they will have hoped to have pulled that into the middle where plenty of players were waiting. Higgins able to grab it in the end. Lisburn Rangers caught sleeping initially.
Didn't send anyone out to follow the short, not even one. Even if one goes out, you can work a bit of a 2v1, but to leave Louise McDaniel to be able to turn inside their own box is
not something they want to do too many times. There's McDaniel again! And that is a lovely strike. 6 minutes on the clock, and Louise McDaniel fires the Reds in front with a beautiful hit. And Higgins, try as she might, could get nowhere near it.
Yeah, look, we said about the fast start that they were gonna be relentless, and that's exactly what they've been. Again, Louise finding herself with a little bit too much time and space within the box. I mean, they've got three around her, but really she's able to take that first touch and get the shot away far too easily.
Louise McDaniel's third goal in this competition this season, and it is the opener of the showpiece. And now, for the first time, Lisburn Rangers come forwards. Ellie Mae Dixon, brilliant pass. McAllister forced into action, and Cliftonville just about able to get rid of it. Kirsty McGuinness just outnumbered there. Little nudge in the back of Parker, who had a glance over to the referee but did well to hold her own. And Caitlin McGuinness, has she done it? Oh, just wide. Well, she is asking the question. She wants a penalty. In their three previous games to get to this final, Cliftonville only conceded one goal, and that was from Glentoran in the semi-final. They're looking to make it two as Caitlin McGuinness makes no mistake. Her ruthless streak continues. And Cliftonville are now 2-0 up inside 15 minutes.
I mean, this is just Caitlin McGuinness's game all over. She's just such a threat in behind. Incredible pace, and the back line of Lisburn Rangers are going to find that really difficult to deal with, and hence why they've probably wanted to try and sit in that block and nullify that space in behind.
It's quite refreshing to see, given how often players maybe do exaggerate things. Here comes Cliftonville, and that should have been three. It was an incisive pass. Finnegan floats it in. Oh, it should have been 3-0. Kelsey Burrows cannot believe what has just happened to her from point-blank range. There was a little bit of a space to play that pass. It was turned over as Parker couldn't get it under control, but they weren't punished for it as Higgins bowls it out. Maxwell. That's a great pass from her. Callahan. Oh, tipped onto the post. Fantastic save. Nobody was marking Hannah Doherty. Oh, and onto the crossbar again. Higgins makes the save, and a brilliant follow-up. And I just wonder if part of her brain's thinking a goal would be a way to do that as well. But I'm sure the entire family really proud of what they've done, as they can now celebrate a third. Callahan involved in it, and Caitlin McGuinness, with her second of the match, should now surely seal the treble for Cliftonville.
Yeah, it's not the goal that Marissa would have wanted, but it's an excellent assist. It's a brilliant way to pass. It's a difficult one as the ball's kicked out from the goalkeeper. There's a lot of pace on it coming towards you, and just to be able to cushion it into Caitlin McGuinness's path. And again, her eyes will have lit up whenever she gets an opportunity like that. She's so deadly, and she just needs that yard, and no one's catching her.
Pacing up and down there, Carla Devine, waiting for a moment, but she'll have to wait a little longer. Callahan, there is Caitlin McGuinness, and there is number 4. It's a beautiful sweeping move, and it's Carlton the substitute, who is soaking up the praise.
Yeah, she'll have enjoyed that one, Vicky Carlton. And again, it all comes from Marissa again, doesn't it? Caitlin just laying it into her path, and then a great first time finish again on the half volley. Does well to control it, to keep it down. It's a difficult skill to get yourself over the ball there. And she's enjoyed every minute of those celebrations.
Great. Nod on there from Caitlin McGuinness, and she is away, chasing down her hat-trick and finding it. It is a marvellous move. And she earns the hugs from her teammates there. Just like when Cliftonville won this competition in 2015. They have a hat-trick hero. A little bit of history repeating itself. And this time it is all about Caitlin McGuinness.
Yep, she starts it and she finishes it. It's a lovely flick on to Louise McDaniel. And Louise, you could see she was just waiting for the right moment to play the pass. She was thinking, is it now? Is now the time? Is now the time? She picks the right moment. She picks the perfect way to pass, to slide it into Caitlin's path. And Caitlin does what she does so well and finds that bottom corner like she has done all night.
Thompson, McMaster getting hers. Kirsty McGuinness full of smiles now after another really good performance. Fee Morgan's going to make sure she gets a nice central location for the photograph afterwards. That's the tactical battle after the tactical battle, is where will you be in the team photo. You don't want a shoulder in your face. Anna Doherty's got her medal, and now it's over to the captain, Kelsey Burrows, along with Elaine Junk.
Someone's tipped Kelsey off that you've got to take the lid off the trophy before you lift it.
And the party starts now for Cliftonville ladies. The Irish Cup completes a memorable, historic treble. And the Reds have made the Irish Cup their own this year. The men claimed the trophy in May. The women doing the same in October. And a club who throughout their history have gone about chasing this trophy and wondered when they'd get their hands on it. Well, the women for the second time have done it now.
Second half is about to get underway. Northern Ireland trailing at the break thanks to that early penalty from Croatia. Tanya Oxtoby's side did create the bulk of the opportunities in that first half. Simone McGill going closest with an effort that hit the crossbar and was inches away from making it one apiece. Rafferty and another McGill effort also levelling things up, but the visitors find themselves behind in this first leg of the Group 1 Euro 2025 playoff. Second leg coming up on Tuesday at Windsor Park, live on the BBC iPlayer. No changes to the break for either side. And Northern Ireland international Cara Hamilton alongside me. Here's McPartlin. McPartlin just playing that sitting role very effectively. Rafferty on cap number 50, the skipper tonight. Halliday, good strength to hold on to possession, but can't quite find a teammate. Republic of Ireland won the first leg of their playoff 6-0 away against Georgia, so very much in control of that tie. They would expect to progress now. Second round of these playoff games take place next month. Subdued start to this second half. I think that's the first time that Croatia have really touched the ball since the kickoff. Not dissimilar from the opening 45 minutes when Northern Ireland had most possession and created the most chances. I mentioned before the game that Tanya Oxtoby's side do score the majority of their games in the second half of matches. 17 of the last 20 goals have arrived after the break. She'll be hoping for a couple in Croatia this evening. McGill, good touch, good turn, good idea to try and find Maxwell, who gets there. McGill had continued to run. Sorry, it was actually Lauren Wade who'd made that run into the 6-yard box.
Yeah, Simone McGill would have been doing well to get back on the end of that cross. But it's really good play from Simone, turning the ball around the corner from Danielle Maxwell, who shows tremendous pace to get ahead of her defender. Fullback would have been favourite to win that one, but she does well to whip that ball to the front post. And
it was a Simone McGill area, wasn't it? It was that kind of area
she likes to attack. You would expect her to be arriving in that, but she's done all the hard work to get the ball to that position in the first place.
What do you want to see in the second half of this game you didn't see in the first?
I think they need to lift the energy towards the back end of the second half. It was a little bit flat.
A bit more pressure on the ball. Northern Ireland win it back. Only momentarily though. Markovic caught in possession by Wade. Here's Dugdale. No Sarah McFadden, of course, as well. Such a huge player for Northern Ireland in the last number of years. Here's Rafferty. Gill comes deep again, and it's a tactic that is certainly working.
Does so well to bring that ball down and get it under control and then draw the foul.
Jelincic was so close during. It was always going to be a free kick when McGill got her body in the way. 5 minutes played in this second half. It's a long way out. The likes of McPartland and Rafferty made their way in towards the middle. Holloway as well. Taken short though. McGill twisting and turning, squeezing it out to Maxwell, and well, it was obviously suited off the training pitch, and it almost worked out. If that had been a better ball into the box from Maxwell.
It's much better from Northern Ireland. They need to do something different if they are going to continue to get a lot of set pieces and free kicks, which we expect based on how the first half went. Then they need to be a lot more creative. Like I said, in the first half we don't really have that aerial presence that we maybe would have done in the past. That all comes down to bravery and creativity, and the players just taking ownership and playing what they see at times.
McGill trying to get just ahead of the defender, but it's been really positive since the break. It's going to be another free kick. And again, it's Yolina. Nudge in the back. Easy decision for the referee. Organising to do at the back for the Croatian number 1. Schofield making her first Northern Ireland start. I know he played 10 minutes of international football for Tanya Oxtoby's side before this game. Referee doesn't want her involved in the ball. Well, I don't think. Ball into the box. Gathered by the goalkeeper, and there's Northern Ireland player down in there as well. Laura Rafferty going down heavily. See her holding her lower back there. Wrestling with her opponent. It certainly didn't look like a foul on Rafferty. Not from that angle anyway.
It's just a good block, a good piece of blocking from the defender, but Rafferty falls hard on her lower back.
So in this playoff phase, there are 28 teams involved, 2 rounds of 2 legs, 7 spots left in the finals. Round 1 this month, round 2 next month. That one is when the final spots in Switzerland will be decided. You can scan that QR code in the bottom corner of your screen to bring you to our Irish football page. Markovic and her teammates watch on as Rafferty continues to receive attention. Sports Sound on air from 2 o'clock tomorrow on BBC Sounds and BBC Radio Ulster. The best of the Irish League, and on Tuesday night we'll be on air for a 7 o'clock kickoff, Northern Ireland against Croatia in the second leg of this round 1 playoff. Looks like Laura Rafferty's okay. I wonder if that just upset Northern Ireland's rhythm because they started the second half well. Be considering changes. 90 minutes again on Tuesday night.
think for whatever scenarios Tanya thought this game might present, she's always got a strategy for all of them, be it being a goal ahead, being a goal behind, being a player down in the game potentially. So she always has those plans out ahead of time, depending on what the game might present.
McGill shipping another challenge there. She should have been awarded a free kick that wasn't given. A lot of players very close to one another in this near side, but the ball lifted in towards Wade and gathered by the goalkeeper, who has looked very solid so far, as you would expect given her experience and her club career.
I think that was another instance there where we just need to come out. We don't need to force the ball into the box when there's only one player and Lauren Wade in there. Perhaps the better option was to just come out and recycle, but that's easier said than done when you know that you're 1-0 down in a playoff game, chasing the game. But they don't need to chase at this point, knowing that there's a long way to go in the second half and there's a second game to be played on Tuesday night.
Patience could prove to be key, especially when you've had the ball as much as Northern Ireland have. Croatia look to be playing the match in their own terms, even at this stage not really in a rush to do anything and haven't committed too many players forward. There's a long way to go though if you're going to take that long out of a throw in, so I'm sure that will be something that the referee will be keeping an eye on. McKenna. A live wire right back in. Challenge from Wade was mistimed.
Yeah,
Final warning for her.
The way that this is going, it's just playing into Croatia's hands. Can't afford to give away needless fouls because we know that they're going to take their time over free kicks. They want the ball to go out for throw-ins. They're going to walk to it and just continue to work the line off throw-ins to try and get another one higher up in Northern Ireland's half.
Does the disjointed nature of this game, particularly in the second half, suit the home side?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Northern Ireland will be keen to get the ball on the floor and play, whereas Croatia, doesn't matter what the game looks like, it's just about seeing it out at this point. I don't even think that they have much ambition of getting a second goal, unless that's on transition.
You identified early on and said that they're a side known for the direct play, maybe not playing through the lines and trying to work it out from the back, and even in this attack, playing it into the middle early. Just the one player in between three Northern Ireland players. It was a dangerous ball, and
they don't score an awful lot of goals either. Croatia, they didn't score many through their Nations League campaign. I think it was possibly four
goals in 6 games.
Yeah.
But 4 goals in 6 games and 3 wins is fairly efficient.
Yeah, but it just shows that they're very good at what they do. They take their opportunities when they present themselves, and then they're obviously very good at frustrating oppositions and just grinding out results.
Mentioned they conceded a lot of goals to the group winners, Wales. Seven in total. Wales, of course, part of Northern Ireland's qualifying group for the Euros a number of years ago. It was a battle between the two sides as to who was going to get the playoff. Northern Ireland managed to seal second spot and then went on to make history in England. They would dearly love to be back there again and make it back-to-back European Championships. It's going to be a tough road though when you consider that more than likely they are going to play Norway, one of the powerhouses of the women's game. Emphatic winners this evening.
It always just seems that Norway play some sort of part in our journey. Throughout the years, we've drawn them in numerous campaigns and had them again in our group at the Euros, at the finals in 2022.
So much quality in their side. Surprised to many that they haven't actually already sealed their spot in Switzerland.
was a really loose pass there from Laura Rafferty, really not under any pressure, looking to find her opposite centre half, Rachel Dugdale, and makes it very difficult for her, and off the back of it, Northern Ireland concede a corner.
It's good play on the right-hand side after they were gifted possession. It was Markovic. Tussling with Dugdale. Across comes number 19, Kaniewak, to take, and referee has seen something that she doesn't like right in the goal mouth. It's Maxwell who's been pulled over. Miliuka as well. Tynashby side really can't afford to concede a second. Past the arm mark. Driven in low. Unsafe in the hands of Burns. It was a decent turn, but no venom in the effort from Rulecic. Joint top goal scorer in the history of Croatian women's football. Markovic again on this near side, providing an outlet when the counter-attacks are on, but here is Wade giving it away far too easily.
After a moment like that where the ball's kind of been in transition, it's kind of bounced about, and you just need to secure that first pass and don't need to be so eager to play a ball that's maybe not on. Just show a little bit more control. Again from Brenna there, I think the opportunity there is to open up her body and play more down that right-hand side.
Flag stays down, big chance for Croatia. Striker went for power, palmed away, and I think the flag then was raised. It did look as if Rulecic was offside, but as is the direction, the official waited and waited. Actually, it was a lot tighter than I thought initially. Here comes the first change of the game. Off goes Halliday. On comes Louise McDaniel.
Don't expect much change from a shape point of view. It's pretty much a like-for-like swap. So Louise McDaniel will just slot in alongside Connie Schofield, just in behind Simone McGill in that sort of 2 number 10 roles, 2 number 8s, whatever you want to call it. Brenna will continue to sit just in front of the back 4.
I think it's 9 of the squad are home-based. 1 Irish League player replacing another. Here's McGill, trying to create a little bit of space to run to through the middle. Plenty of bodies in the box. Dealt with by the first defender. McDaniel, her first involvement. Effort then blocked in the follow-up. This is really good pressure. Maxwell tries to stand it up, gathered by the goalkeeper though. He bowls it out straight away to Markovic when Northern Ireland had that area covered, and here they come again. Good play from Maxwell. Just had that little glance before playing it into the middle, but the goalkeeper Bacic has controlled that area very well.
Yeah, much better from Northern Ireland, getting the switch early in that phase. Simone McGill gives it to Rebecca Holloway, who then plays it back to Simone McGill, and she opens up her body, turns, and we then play down that opposite right-hand side, and Danielle Maxwell only needs half a yard. Her delivery is usually quality.
25 minutes to go. going to need to find a goal to get something from this game ahead of the second leg in Belfast on Tuesday. Conceded early on thanks to a well taken penalty kick from the home side. No real flow to this second half because of all the free kicks. It's been stop-start. Northern Ireland have led the better football since the break, but can't find a goal. It's a substitute, McDaniel, in the receiving end.
Yeah, the quicker Northern Ireland can get the ball down, just whenever it's in transition, it's in the air an awful lot, and then that gives the Croatians the opportunity to go and challenge for it, and it kind of just goes back and forth, and it becomes very scrappy and transitional, and hence why there's an awful lot of free kicks as well.
Well, there's going to be a yellow card shown here. I think it's one of the backroom staff. It's not the Croatian manager, but it's one of his backroom team. So no yellow cards on the pitch, one off the pitch. And the referee is given a bounce ball rather than a free kick. Dugdale. Space at a premium in that area of the pitch is so congested around there.
Yeah, alluded to it numerous times, the way that we just get funneled down one side so easily, rather than looking to just come back out and go the other side. I think Brennan McPartlin could have just given a better angle to then open up her body and play the opposite side, but she's got to be demanding that ball off Rachel Dugdale there. Maybe she doesn't see it, she's only looking one way. She just needs to move, drop off a couple of yards, give her that angle.
Referee just halted play momentarily before giving Rebecca McKenna the green light to get it back underway. Here's Dugdale. Holloway. Just the point you've been making. Markovic. No real targets inside, and two Northern Ireland players around her, and it's a numerical advantage that pays off, and kind of shows you where Croatia are at in terms of committing players forward. It's been fairly conservative for them at times, trying to protect that lead. Rafferty does manage to squeeze it through to McKenna. Look at the bodies making their way in towards the middle. There's a cut back, and it was between them all.
I think it's the right option from Rebecca McKenna. She looks up, she sees Lauren Wade, but the execution just isn't quite there. All the Croatians drop immediately into their 6-yard box, and Lauren Wade standing there on her own, and if she can just pick her out,
in some
I'd back Lauren Wade to put that in the top corner.
In some ways, it almost sums up Northern Ireland's night, where there's a lot of good play in that phase, but it just doesn't come off. And
even the way that it comes about, they're fortunate that the ball breaks through Rebecca McKenna. It's the right idea from Laura Rafferty, but maybe it's just not executed quite cleanly. And a lot of their play has been untidy and not quite as clean as you would want it to be, but you can see that the idea is there. It's just the timing of it everybody's not quite on the same page.
But it is close. 20 to go. Northern Ireland have been behind in this game for a long time. Some last-ditch defending from the home side, and have they given away a free kick? It certainly looks that way for a handball, I think.
Yeah.
Well, this is in a great position, a central position. Normally it would be the likes of Demi Vance standing over this ball. Going to be tailor-made for her. Instead it's Rafferty with the ball in hand. You would feel it would suit a left-footed player. Cross comes Holloway. There are a couple of substitutes getting ready. Megan Bell and Casey Howe, I think, is the other. Eagerly waiting to get onto the pitch for the last 20 minutes. McPartland. Stands over the ball along with Holloway. It is going to be the left foot of Holloway, and it's just off target. Rebecca Holloway has now gone 19 games without scoring for Northern Ireland. Was prolific in her early caps. Schofield's evening is over, her first start at international level. Fresh legs coming on, and Bell and Howe.
It's really good to see Megan Bell back. She's had a tough time with injuries, as we all know, in and out of the squad due to that. No, Tanya is a big fan of Megan and what she brings, and the longer she can stay fit, I think the more she's going to be important for Northern Ireland over the next couple of years. And for Casey Howe, in brilliant form for club, getting her first professional contract. Really excited to see what she can do out here. Slightly surprised she maybe didn't start this game tonight.
But probably not surprised that Simone McGillan makes way, given that she's been battling back from injury herself.
Yeah, I think with one eye on Tuesday as well, we know that it's important that she can have an influence on that game as well.
I take it that it's Bacic who has been shown the yellow card rather than Jackie Burns. I think it's the first of the game, and I suspect it was for time wasting just off camera. We're not in charge of the graphics, and I think it's the Croatian goalkeeper rather than the Northern Ireland one, who remarkably is the first name in the referee's notebook. Here's Howe's first involvement, the live wire, a real ball of energy, trying to make an impact straight away.
Straight away, seeing what she's all about, standing defenders up 1v1, and she can go left or right, but she's so good whenever she comes off the left-hand side and cuts in on her right foot, and absolutely should be having a shot there. It's well within her range. I know Megan Bell probably was wanting the ball on the edge of the box, but I think she was well within her right to have a go there.
Markovic coming off. Gulchik, one of the players brought in. Had been expected to start this game, the wing back from Split. It was a vastly different side than the one that played the majority of the games in the Nations League. And you can see Tanya Oxtoby's hands up again there, feeling that once again the Croats were taking their time. And Bacic already in a yellow. Can't hang about from those goal kick scenarios. High. On the ball. Straight away again. Visitors eager to get her in possession. They know that her pace can cause problems, like it has with Maxwell on the other side. Croatia really struggling to get into the northern half even.
You can hear Rachel Dugdale's teammates there telling her that she has time maybe to bring that one down rather than just going and heading the ball, and then again it becomes a transitional game, and Croatia will just work the line off this throw-in as they have done throughout the game.
Oh, it's a high foot. It looks like it's going to be a yellow card, and the defender felt the full force of that. It's Dulcic, the substitute, Dugdale on the receiving end, and it was right in front of the assistant referee. On first view, it really didn't look good. Hopefully Dugdale is okay. Dipped her head. And I think that's probably the only reason why it's a yellow rather than a red.
Yeah, you can see that she is quite clearly going for the ball, but Rachel Dugdale just nips in front of her. I think that's all that has maybe saved her, is the fact that Rachel Dugdale does dip her head, and there's no malice in it at all, but it's probably just in between a yellow and a red.
And it's an opportunity for both of the sides to go across and speak with their management teams. What will Tanya Oxter be saying?
I think it's a case now of having to go for it, to go at them at every opportunity, put them under so much pressure. Just don't leave anything out on the pitch now. It's go and put them under pressure, high press them, stop it at source, stop allowing them playing that long ball. Really start to squeeze the pitch and put them under pressure.
Dugdale still down, receiving treatment. Obviously, with any kind of an injury involving your head, it's imperative that the concussion protocols are utilised and undertaken. I'm not sure if that's what's going on now, but it's certainly an area that has completely changed in recent years in terms of treatment.
Yeah, and she does need to come off. She's got two great options there in Kelsey Burrows and Ellie Mason.
Get in touch using the hashtag BBC Football. You can see the medical team making sure Rachel Dugdale's okay to continue. Sports on dinner from 2 o'clock with all the action in the Irish League. Live coverage on Tuesday night on the iPlayer of the second leg of this contest. I don't think she's going to continue. Medical team looking out for Rachel Dugdale, making sure that she is safe. And see the supporters showing their appreciation. Obviously, given the amount of time that she was being treated, it was a serious injury and one that nobody wanted to take any chances over.
It is good to see that she's walking off the pitch though, and she seemed to be responding quite well. Just can't take any risks.
the final 10 minutes. Northern Ireland trying to make a change right now to replace Dugdale, I think, just off camera. Carr's already identified some of the potential substitutes to come in. Burns goes long towards Howe, headed out for a throw-in. It's going to be Kelsey Burrows. Howe. A strong challenge from Dulcic. He is on a yellow, having just been introduced. Holloway tries to play it in, then it's followed up by Howe. Who's he going to fall to? Just hasn't gone Northern Ireland's way in the opposition penalty area. Here's McKenna. There's plenty of support around her. Bell. To McDaniel. Howe plays it across the 6-yard box, but once again gathered by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you can see what she was trying to do, just fizz it back across the face of the goal, but it's good work initially by Megan Bell to just turn away from pressure and then again try and hit them on that opposite side, and just need someone making that front post run. Danielle Maxwell was kind of coming in at that sort of back post area, but no one making the front post run, putting the goalkeeper under any pressure.
And for all of Northern Ireland's opportunities and getting in the right areas of the pitch, Bacic has looked very solid.
She has, and I don't know that we've really tested her from a shot-stopping point of view. Everything has been quite easy for her in terms of what she's had to gather.
Kelsey Burrows' first involvement under Tanya Oxtoby. Played the Euros in England, but hasn't been involved under the new boss. Burns showing her intent. Doesn't quite come off for McDaniel. Bit more pressure high up the pitch though from Croatia as they win it back again. Dulcic. Burns a long way off her line. Connects and wants to get it back in play very quickly. Has to be a little bit more patient though. You'd expect there will be plenty of injury time added on, particularly after that Dugdale injury. If anything, it's Croatia who are starting to find their flow now.
It is. They're starting to actually step up and put a little bit more pressure on Northern Ireland as they start to play out from the back.
How big would a Northern Ireland goal be in the context of this two-leg attack?
I think it totally changes the face of it whenever you're bringing a draw back, you know, to your home game rather than a defeat, because I think you would see a similar pattern from Croatia, a side that's set up to just frustrate Northern Ireland in that second leg, whereas 1-1 starts to ask the question of them and ask them to maybe come out and attack a little bit more in the second game. How much do they really want to win this tie?
Really good pressure on that occasion from Northern Ireland to win it back. Hunting in packs. Hard legs. Could be a chance through the middle. Croatia do have numbers for it in this occasion. It perhaps was just a case of not having the legs to get away from that Northern Ireland back line. Rebecca McKenna clearly fouled on a couple of occasions there, but advantage play. Wade. Game really starting to get stretched. Dulcich again. Fires it towards the near post. Rudic actually in it. She has been a real threat throughout this match. Has played a lot of it as a lone striker, but
she's done really well to work
twice she's been in that position, isn't it?
Yep. Initially, the mistake from Kelsey Burrows, misjudges the header. She's trying to just cushion it into her midfield there, but really she probably needs to get a lot more on it.
Again, Northern Ireland lose out, failing to break that first line. Referee this time doesn't sound her whistle, and off goes Maxwell. Howe wants it at the back post. Maxwell can't quite get it there, but
she's looking up, and there's really not an awful lot of options in there in the box for her. It was Casey Howe on her own initially against 3 Croatian defenders. Lauren Wade makes up the ground and gets into the box as well, but not enough bodies making the box at this point of the game.
Driven in low. Lovely touch, just to loop it over from Kochak. Not hanging about. Republic of Ireland have won 6-0 in their game. 2 games in injury time, of which there were over 10 minutes. Northern Ireland still waiting for the board to go up here. Everyone has made their way into the box. McDaniel's corner kick towards that near post area wasn't the best delivery. Will she get another opportunity? It's going to be a throw-in instead. McKenna supporting. Everybody for Croatia back. Bell lifts it forward. And as Burrows tries to thread it through. Wade can't quite get there. And hammered cleared by Kanjevich. Can Northern Ireland unlock that Croatian backline? They haven't managed it in 88 minutes. Look how far Jackie Burns is off her line. Holloway.
Croatia done really well there. Initially put Jackie Burns under pressure, and the rest of the team steps up at exactly the right time, not allowing Northern Ireland to get out at all.
Before the game, you were talking about maybe the lack of a goal-scoring threat, the difficulty that Croatia had in the group, but they have shown that they have a definitive game plan tonight.
They do. They have a style of play, and they obviously execute it very well. It's the kind of game that historically we have struggled in. Teams that pose this sort of problem. I think back to the game, very first game at home against Malta in the group.
When it was a night when I think probably the thing I remember about that match is the fact it was 0-0 in the opening game of a group, and Malta celebrated like they'd won at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
That kind of said it all, what they were coming to achieve. It hasn't quite been as passive tonight for Croatia because they have created a few more opportunities, but they obviously got that lead early on after the penalty kick, and well, they've clung on to it so far, particularly in that first half. Northern Ireland had chances. 7 minutes, so still plenty of time. We had that long stoppage for the treatment to Rachel Dugdale, and well, that will buoy the visitors.
Yeah, Northern Ireland just need to keep knocking on the door in this final 7 minutes. doesn't have to be the prettiest, but it's whatever gets a result at this point.
Good tackle, but it is a corner kick. In injury time. Oh, it's a vital touch from Bacic. I think it was McPartland who was lurking at the back post and almost timed to run perfectly.
Brilliant touch. Brenna does excellently to lose her marker, but the keeper does so well to judge the flight of that ball and just get the vital touch.
She has been a central figure, the Croatian #1, the captain, leading by example. Here's how. Gets past the first defender. Towards the near post, and it's in. It's an own goal. Northern Ireland have an equaliser in injury time, and it could prove to be crucial. It will put an entirely different complexion on the second leg on Tuesday. It's scrappy. It's actually Jolina, the player who scored from the penalty spot in the opening minutes. Created by Howe. And Jolina with the touch past the goalkeeper Bacic.
Yeah, Casey Howe just doing exactly what she does best. I said earlier she can go on her left foot or her right foot. It's not her best cross by no means, but it does enough to just cause havoc in the box. And initially I thought that wasted the corner by the set wasn't quite right. I think Casey wanted to get it under her right foot and try and whip the ball in, but she does so well to improvise, to get it back onto her left and just create something.
Now can Northern Ireland push for a winner? It's a goal that will, you would have thought, deflate Croatia after everything they've managed to achieve. Look very comfortable, particularly as the game went on. But that scrappy goal on a night when Northern Ireland have had plenty of quality and have had far better chances. Tanya Oxtoby won't be too fussed. Gains for handball. Bacic. How much more confident are you of Northern Ireland going through if it stays this way?
I think much more confident. That's a huge relief for me, just based on how I think Croatia would have approached the second leg if they had been carrying a 1-0 lead into this. And I think Northern Ireland will certainly feel more comfortable going into the game. I think it would have been very nervy and very edgy, and I think there would have been probably too much riding on it for Northern Ireland going in 1-0 down. And I mean, based on how it's gone tonight, I don't know that I saw 2-3 goals maybe in Northern Ireland. But they'll look at the game, they'll tweak things, and they'll look at how they can exploit this team better now that they know a little bit more about them and how they've approached this game and how they might possibly set up in the second leg.
It looks like they're going into that second leg at one apiece. This tie delicately poised as Croatia make another change. Or can. They go to Belfast ahead. There's still time for a winner here. Behind for so much of this encounter after that early penalty. It will have been a huge relief when that ball hit the net. Maxwell. Goal kick. 2 minutes to go. What are the other big positives from tonight?
I think the impact of the substitutes again. That's something that has come out a lot under Tanya Oxley. She always readies all of the squad to do whatever job they're asked to do whenever they come onto the pitch, and I think the likes of Megan Bell, Louise McDaniel have had a really positive impact on the game, and then of course Casey as well and her involvement in the goal. So there'll be questions, you know, for Tanya and her staff as to how they approach the second game and who possibly has warranted a start.
Do you think she'll change much up?
I think she has reason to. She's things to consider. You know, it's not a massively experienced squad in a lot of ways, and so I think there's probably a lot of very tough decisions to be made. I think there's a lot of very similar players who offer a lot of similar things. She probably would have liked to, of course, have a number of players that aren't available. I think losing Simone, her being under limited minutes, of course you want her on the pitch for as long as possible too, which is a challenge, and at the minute we don't have a direct replacement for her in that number 9 position, which is maybe going to blunt your attack slightly, but I think they've managed the game really well with the players that have come on and come on to play maybe slightly different positions.
And it looks like that injury time equaliser will mean that it's level pegging going into Tuesday's game in Belfast live on the iPlayer. Final few seconds here in Croatia. Referee has a little glance at her watch. And here goes Maxwell. That would have been a smash and grab if Northern Ireland could have found the net twice in injury time, but we played the 7 minutes. And it looks like at the halfway point of this playoff, it's going to be one apiece. There's confirmation of it. An own goal in injury time levels it up for Northern Ireland after they conceded early on. Jolina's penalty, firing Croatia ahead in the opening minutes. But then the same player turned it into your own net in stoppage time. We'll be back live on Tuesday night for the second leg of this round 1 playoff after it finishes Croatia 1, Northern Ireland 1.